Hi, we're The Cat's Tail.
Yep.
And we're here to have a book discussion about Brave New World by
Aldous Huxley. Yeah. I'm Christine.
I'm Kat.
Yes. Just so you know.
Yeah. And we're going to start off with a book description of the book.
Yeah.
So, far in the future, the world controllers have created the ideal society. Through clever use of genetic engineering, brainwashing, and recreational sex and drugs, all its members are happy consumers. Bernard Marx seems alone, harboring an ill-defined longing to break free. A visit to one of the few remaining savage reservations, where the old, imperfect life still continues, may be the cure for his distress. Huxley's ingenious fantasy of the future sheds a blazing light on the present and is considered to be his most enduring masterpiece.
And before we go into spoilery territory, what did you think about the book?
I was very impressed. It's a book that makes you think, and it's kind of creepy in a way that I think dystopia should be.
Yes.
So it made an impact on me.
Yes, I really liked it too. And I mean, this is it's written in 1932, I think, sort of in the interwar period, and that's sort of right up my alley. So I'm surprised I haven't read this before. It's sort of a given that I would like this.
Yeah.
So yes, I did like it.
Liked it a lot.
Yes. Although it can be a bit hard to get into. The writing style, particularly in the beginning, is a bit confusing.
Yeah, the first chapter is very rapid fire switching point of view, so it's a bit confusing in the beginning. But if the beginning seems you're not going to like it, just persevere because it gets better. It's not like that all the way through.
No, you have to at least. I mean, if you want to read the book, you should read past that point before you quit, so that you get a feel for how it actually is written. Because it's a bit different at the beginning. From
the first chapter is not representative of the rest of the book.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Some spoilers then?
Yes. Now we go into the meaty stuff. So if you don't want to be spoiled, turn off this thing.
Read the book and come back.
Yes. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So the world.
The world was very impressive. It's so creepy, and it's like I don't know. It's set in London, but it doesn't feel like London. It doesn't seem like London at all. It's not a London we know.
No, this is it's a utopia. It's supposed to be a utopia, which we all know is kind of synonymous with the dystopia, and it's eugenetics have taken over, I guess, and people are grown in bottles, essentially green bottles.
Yeah.
And it's yes, it's definitely a fascinating world.
Yeah, and also they have a quite a caste system that's very rigid. They grow people to be a certain caste. They have alpha plus people. That's like the higher end. They have the better jobs and they have more spare time and stuff. And then they have the epsilon
semi-morons,
yeah,
I think,
which do the dirty work because they're like conditioned to enjoy doing dirty work and not question authority and just do what they're told.
Yes, because that's the thing here. You're grown in these bottles, and then you grow up in like an institution. The concept of mother and father is obscene in this world, and as children, you're conditioned. They sort of just imprint in your head by repeating things when you're asleep, among other things, and training you from you're very little to accept the ideas of this world. So, for instance, everyone belongs to everyone, and everyone is happy, and all these things like about how, and sort of trained to despise or dislike people from a different caste than yourself, and trained to like the work that you're supposed to do. Essentially, removing your choice. Yeah. You just think this is what you're supposed to do, and then you are supposed to be happy because you work, and then you after work you can go to the feelies, play sports, or go dancing. I think yes.
Do drugs.
And do drugs. There's a drug called Soma.
Yeah.
That everybody takes. They get like 4 grams a day
Yeah.
or something, and 6 on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And
also, they say in a book that in this world we are free. We are free. We are free to be happy. We are free to be content. But of course that you don't have a choice. You have to do. You're free to be happy, but you still have to do as you're supposed to do. Yeah. You have to live up to your conditioning.
Yes, but the thing is that you're free because you don't want anything else, so they condition you to feel free and happy.
Yeah, you think you're free.
Yes, of course. The point of this book is that that one of the characters, John, sort of sees and points out to us that when everything is available and everything that you could possibly want you have, then it's sort of meaningless, all of it.
Yeah.
This constant, it's sort of a comfort and seems really, really boring.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
So one of our main characters, Bernard Marx, he and Lenina. Yeah. They travel to America, to a savage camp, to experience this other culture which is not perfected. And there they find a boy that is from London. His parents are from London.
Yes.
And he's been born naturally, which is atrocious to them.
Shock, the horror.
And they bring him back to London. And this, of course, gets to real emotion.
Yes. That's the conflict of the book, isn't it? The sort of a differing worldviews that we see here that are both extremes. And, you know, he's so he's just appalled by their casualness with everything, and they're not caring about anything, and they're not having a god, and no suffering, and they're very free with sex. Like everybody has sex all the time because everyone belongs to everyone.
Yeah. If you date the same man several weekends in a row, you might be up for some punishment because you're not supposed to stick to one man.
You're abnormal, so maybe you need some treatments because they have all kinds of weird treatments, like
the fake pregnancy thing.
Yes, and there was this violence. Emotion.
Stimulated violence. They prop you full of adrenaline or something, so you get to experience
rage and anger.
Yeah, not good emotions. So you're supposed to learn that emotions are terrifying and raw, and you're not supposed to want them.
I really like the scene where they showed in the beginning, in the first chapter, they show how they conditioned the children, and they had like these flowers and this book.
Yeah.
And then the children they go over to them and they look at them. Oh, these are pretty things, and then they get this horrible, horrible sound, and everything is just terrible. So they're conditioned into being afraid,
electrified.
Yes. Yeah. And they're afraid. So they learn that flowers are bad, that literature is bad, therefore they don't want it. And we see that a lot in the book. I think one of the characters, Bernard, he takes Lenina out in his helicopter because everybody has a personal helicopter.
Yeah, that doesn't seem dangerous at all.
And she thinks it's awful. Oh, the stars, how awful to see the nature. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they also say that they tried to condition them to like nature at some point, and then they didn't want to do their work. They just wanted to be out in the nature. So that didn't work out. So now everyone's supposed to hate nature.
Mm. They're always tweaking a little bit, but they're trying to keep things the same and stable, and then everyone is happy.
Yeah. Also, I find it quite interesting that the concept of parents isn't just atrocious. It's mother and father are the worst swear words you could ever say to someone. Calling someone your father is, When John the Savage returns from America with the other people, they find his father, and he runs over to him and calls him father, and he basically collapses and leaves his job and everything, and we never heard anything more from him.
No, I think he goes forever on vacation by taking the drug Soma.
Yeah. Also, John's mother, Linda, she got lost in America when she was younger. Yes. So that's how she she was conditioned and grew up in London, and then she was lost in America and grew up with the savages. So it's quite interesting to see how her conditioning turned sort of against her when she was out of the environment where everyone's conditioned like that.
Yes, because in this sort of savage reservation that they have, people are very religious, and it's completely opposites, essentially.
Yeah.
So the contrasts of this book, I suppose, is those two. And you have the third place that we never get to see, and I wasn't sure if it was just some nonsense, some propaganda that, oh, if you not behave, we send you to Iceland or the island, depending on who you're talking to. And I thought that might be just a metaphor for killing them off, but apparently they actually do send them there.
Yeah. So people that won't like bow down to their conditioning and accept that this is how the world's supposed to be, and still question things, are sent to islands where they can continue questioning things with other people that still question things without having a bad impact on the rest of the society.
Yes.
So they clear them away from the board, so to speak.
Because the conditioning is fairly fragile. Really. I mean, it's affirmation, right? That's the thing a lot of people do, positive and negative. Today is gonna be a good day. Oh, I hate myself, etc. Those things that we do, and they work. We know they kind of rewire our brain a little. So essentially, that's what it does, and so it means that you can rewire it again, of course.
Yeah.
So, if you break out, if you non-conform, you get shipped off to somewhere where the other non-conformists live, and there you can make your art and read your books. Well, there probably aren't many books, but you know, you can be.
In the later part, last part of the book, there's an interesting conversation between the director of is it the director of this conditioning place or something, the one that has a conversation with John the Savage and tells him how this system works. You get it explained quite plainly, actually.
Yes. It's the world controller, I think.
World controller, yeah.
Yeah, there's 10 of those, I think, and he's one of them. And he knows, he's aware, you know, he knows what they're doing.
Yeah, when he controller, he got the choice between going to an island and continuing his science and questioning thing, or become world controller. So, and then he had to give up science and everything, but he still couldn't know because, well, the top has to know. I suppose
they have to be aware.
Yeah.
They have to be sentient.
So he has a safe in his office filled with like Shakespeare and the Bible and the Quran and stuff like that.
Yeah. So characters.
Yeah.
I mean, we follow mainly three. I feel.
Yeah.
That's Bernard, who is he's a psychologist and a conditioner, I suppose. And he's a bit of a loner. He looks different.
Yeah, he's a couple of centimeters shorter than the rest. So there's this rumor that they put alcohol in his bottle before he was born. So he made him more like a lower caste.
Yes. And so he feels outside of society. He's a bit of a loner, and he sort of seeks otherness, and he doesn't go with the women that often at the beginning and stuff like that. And he really wants. I don't know what he really wants. I think is for people to like him.
He questions everything, and he wants, especially questions that everyone belongs to everyone. He wants one person. Yes. He wants one person to be one with, or
And like I said earlier, he sort of appreciates nature a little bit, bit and stuff like that. And he and asks this other character, Lenina, to go with him to this savage reservation.
Yeah. Which is the savage reservation is basically like, I think it's supposed to be an Indian Native American camp, but it's different because they worship Jesus and an eagle.
Yes.
So it's like a mismatch of
Pukuma or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Puko.
So it's a mismatch of many things, I think, this savage community.
They're like, And anyway, Lenina, I think, is perhaps stuck the most stuck character here.
She gets the short end of the straw no matter what she does.
She can't do anything. She follows her. She's like, in the beginning, she just sort of has been sleeping with the same man for over a month.
Which is scandalous, of course.
So her friend Fanny tells her that she needs to, shake it up a little bit, sleep with some other guys. And she goes for Bernard then. And he wants to sort of talk. He wants to go for a walk. And she hates this thing. She's fairly successfully conditioned, although she's attracted to sort of otherness and danger and excitement, I suppose.
Yeah.
She wants to feel things, although she doesn't know that that's what she wants. Because she's fairly well conditioned. Like, she's the conformist of all of these characters.
Yeah.
And so she goes to this
Savage reservation
with Bernard, and it's not so great. It smells there, for instance. She's all overcome with how horrible that place is.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I have my Suma," and she basically takes a holiday from her holiday with her drugs.
Yes. She wanted to see it, but it wasn't all that,
No.
But she meets then, of course, John the Savage. Yeah, they call him that.
Yeah,
of course. And she likes him a bit, so there's a bit of a thing there. She tries to,
There's a crush going on there.
But he, of course, he believes in marriage and one man, one woman, and
yeah. Also, John, when he was younger, his mother gave him, out of my phone, gave him a copy of Shakespeare's collected works. So he is kind of conditioned to Shakespeare's form of love.
In a way, I mean, I think he takes everything in between the pages of this volume of his collected works at face value.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't understand like the nuances a lot, and he's very religious, believes in like God and all of that.
I think he says at some point that he really wants to do something brave to prove to Lennane that he loves her, like die for her or something, because that's what these heroes in Shakespeare did. So he wants to do something grand.
Yes, and she doesn't understand. She doesn't. She's like, "You want me? You can have me," because that's how she's been conditioned or raised. Yeah. And so they're at odds there. They want each other, but not in the same way. Because for her it's a gift. It's freely given.
Yeah.
But for him, it has to be earned and it has to be sacred. And when she just takes off her clothes and like, okay, let's get on with it. Essentially, he gets really angry and he hits her and calls her a whore and these things, and she's just super upset.
Yeah. And
he can't, and he feels, I think, even his emotions for her, he feels are wrong inherently.
Yeah, so, he has shame for his emotions. He's not conditioned to believe that everyone belongs to everyone, but he feels ashamed for all his wants because of how his mother were treated at the Jesus. Yeah, my thoughts disappeared.
Yes. So okay. So yeah, these are sort of the main characters, and then there are others scattered about. But yeah, these are the opposites. They're two very extreme opposites, and they're sort of these worlds that they sort of come from, and none of these characters are particularly, I mean, they're all kind of frustrating because they all have sort of very one-track minds.
Yeah.
Like Bernard, he gets some praise and people like him when he brings John the Savage and his mother Linda back from the reservation and into London, and then of course that is sort of the thing of the moment is to go to look at John, essentially. And Bernard, he feels so good about himself then, and he's like in the middle of things, and he just desperately wants everyone to admire him. And then when they don't, he gets upset and whiny and goes to his friend, and it's like, oh, now I think independently, but he doesn't really want to, I think.
No.
He thinks he fancies himself quite braver than he is.
Yeah, he's quite the hypocrite, really.
Yes. So and Lena, I think, I don't mind her. She's just a product of the society, and she does really get the short end of the stick all the time. Nothing she does is right.
No.
She does what she's supposed to. She's trained to, conditioned to, and it's wrong. She does the opposite, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
She's you just sort of yes. And then of course there's John, who's completely opposite. Yeah, and also he's so very, very righteous.
Yeah. In the end, he ends up leaving London for this lighthouse where he wants to grow his food and live off the nature, live off the land, and become closer to God, and he starts whipping himself
Yeah.
and punishing himself because he has wicked thoughts. So
yes, and obviously he becomes an attraction, so people come to gawk at him and they throw things at him, and it must be awful, like being in a zoo, essentially.
yeah,
And so I understand that he kills himself.
yeah. So the book is kind of open-ended in the way that it's quite clear that he hangs himself, but how this world keeps on turning. So
yeah,
yes,
and everything here is about new things, consumerism and stuff. It's like
conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt like society, right?
Yeah.
You're just produced. I mean, all these people, they try to make as many twins, as they call them, as possible, like identical from one egg,
Yeah.
I mean, they really, really want to clone people, essentially.
Yeah. This big thing about if it has a hole in it, then you throw it away because you don't fix things.
Yeah,
you buy a new one.
You have to buy new things, and you can't have a sports. All the sports have been sort of commercialized even more than they were beforehand, because obviously you need equipment. You always need equipment. Now it's like super equipmentized, so that production must carry on, and they worship Ford.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Ford ship.
Yes, and they have like these solidarity circles where there's like 12 of them in a group, and there's supposed to be one, and they sing this song about orgy porgy.
Yeah.
And it's just because they don't matter as individuals; they're all part of it. Yeah. So it's
Yeah, and when the kids are being conditioned young, they're exposed to what they call death conditioning, where they go and visit the hospital and see the dying people and see them die, and every time someone dies, they get a chocolate biscuit because they're supposed to feel happy when someone dies.
Yes. So yeah, because people don't really matter in this world.
No.
It's the consumerism that matters, which is interesting.
It's like this big circle where everything goes on, no matter if you're there or not.
Yeah, and the people are happy. I mean, they don't really. I mean, they know they're comfort. They live in comfort, I should say, because I don't think they know happiness.
No.
And
also, I think it's worth mentioning the abortion tower.
Yes.
Yeah, they have an abortion. It was pink shiny glass abortion tower.
Yes. And they tried to sterilize some of the women, and they're like free Martins, they can't have children. And I'm like, why don't you just sterilize the dudes?
Yeah.
You can do that after they're born. You don't have to do that in the bottle.
Yeah, because people not born of bottle, that's disgusting. That's not supposed to happen.
No.
You're not supposed to have children natural way.
No. So yeah. So the adults here are very sort of infantilized, really.
Yeah.
And they're sort of just searching for the next happiness, the next high, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just like it's pursuit of happiness. Except they don't know what happiness is.
Not really. I think they just contentment is the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a utopia, right? So yes,
I think we got it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you see? No, never mind.
Huh?
I lost my thought. It just yeah. I was thinking, drawing parallels to the real world, etc.
Yeah. One thing I found very interesting was before I read this book, a couple of years earlier, I read Pretties by Scott Westerfeld, and I saw quite a lot of parallels there. But of course, the young adult version isn't as harsh.
No,
it's like a softened down. But it was interesting seeing that new dystopian literature often is very inspired by the old, but it doesn't have the same impact often.
No. Okay. Yes. So.
Yeah. We're done?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Yeah.
And in June, or this month, we are reading
Out by Natsuo Kirino. That's the best that I can do. Yeah.
And we are hoping to be a good one. It's supposed to be like a thriller, whatever.
Yeah.
Mystery. Revenge thing.
Yeah.
But yes.
So yeah, I think this is gonna be good. It's also is reading a bit diversely, which is always good.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see you in a month.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.